Jill here is over at Commerce. Jill, talk us a little bit. You got a big announcement this afternoon on Wavemakers, right?
It's more like a reminder.
More like a reminder.
We are accepting applications for the 2018 cohort of Wavemaker Fellows, and our deadline is this Friday. So we want to make sure that the word gets out, that the opportunity is out there.
So let's go through, nice and slow.
Yeah.
What is the opportunity? What is the program?
What is the program? High level. It is an incentive that was designed by the governor and her staff to keep talent here in Rhode Island. We found that people were graduating from our world-class colleges and universities, and they were leaving.
Second highest DMA in the country to lose its college graduates.
Yeah.
About 70% pack up and leave.
Yeah, so they up and leave. They go get a job somewhere else, or they start their business somewhere else, and we didn't want that to happen anymore.
Right.
And they're saddled with some of the highest student loan debt averages in the country. So they have over $30,000 of student loan debt. And when
on average, a graduate of one of the universities here
Yes.
has $30,000 in loans.
Yep. Which is a lot of money
It is
for anybody,
a lot of money,
especially a 20-something who has no idea what to do with their life.
Yep.
Trying to figure out how to adult is not easy when you have $30,000 on your shoulder. And then companies that were here were saying, hey, we need access to this talent. We need to keep the talent pipeline growing in these key industries, which are STEM and design. So science, technology, engineering, and math, and design careers is what the Wavemaker Fellowship focuses on. So quite simply, it provides a refundable tax credit worth up to $6,000 a year to the fellows who are participating to help them offset the cost of their student loans. So they can earn up to $6,000 depending on their degree level that they can either take as a credit towards their taxes or as a check.
Gotcha. And talk about, when did the program start?
Yeah, in 2015, the program was enacted, and since then we've had 2 cohorts of fellows. So we've accepted
Cohorts, I don't know these fancy words.
Groups.
Is it 2 groups, 2 classes?
Annual awardees, yeah, if you will.
Got it.
2 classes.
You folks over at Commerce have this
And our big words.
jargon way above
So 2
us.
groups.
Okay.
2 classes.
And how many were in each of the cohorts?
I'm going to go with groups. I'm just
Okay, you're going with
stay
groups,
there.
and I advanced my language over to cohorts.
We had about 200, a little over 200 in each. So we're floating at above 400 Wavemaker Fellows that are out there at about 170 different companies throughout the state, actually, representing all sorts of industries, everyone from accounting firms to engineering firms to healthcare practitioners and everything in between.
That's great. And who's eligible? Can anyone, if they meet that design or within the sciences, STEM, can they apply for this?
Solid maybe. So maybe. If you're working for a company in Rhode Island,
yes.
So checkbox number 1, you're working for a company in Rhode Island in a STEM or design field, so you're checking that box too, and you have student loan debt that you're actively paying back. So if you're lucky enough to not have student loan debt, you unfortunately cannot be a part of the Wavemaker Fellowship program.
Okay.
But if you're one of the majority, you're eligible. So those are the 3 things you need to check off in order to apply.
And have we seen any, I know it's early with only 2 cohorts, have we seen any measurable impact on what it's doing to help retain talent coming out of Rhode Island colleges and universities?
Yeah, I mean, almost 60% of the fellowship cohort, groups, the fellowship groups represent graduates from Rhode Island institutions, but not all of them.
Yep.
So we take anybody that graduated from any college or university that's working here in Rhode Island. So that 60% is a pretty good number to have. In addition to the money, so getting to your point as to the measurable success, I would say, yes, it's early. But in addition to the money, it's my job to put on programs for those people. So we've been offering personal and professional development seminars, home buying workshops, financial well-being workshops, getting back to that 20-somethings don't always know how to manage their money the best way. And a lot of engagement events, social events. I mean, if they're not your family, your friends, or your coworkers, how the heck do you meet new people? We make that possible. So we actually have an event tonight that's aimed at networking and celebrating the success of the Wavemaker Fellowship program thus far. Anecdotally, I'll share, there's been a couple of instances where we had a fellow who was offered a position at the corporate headquarters of their company in Massachusetts, and they turned it down. because they wanted to stay in Rhode Island. They're from Rhode Island. They want to keep their roots here. We also have a fellow who is considering 2 jobs. She had gone to school in Florida. She was considering 2 job offers down in Florida, 1 job offer up here in Rhode Island. She took the job offer up here in Rhode Island with the Wavemaker Fellowship, and she's still here, still working at that company. So I would say yes.
Yeah, right. And then talk a little bit about the different levels. If you've got an
Yep.
associate degree, you're eligible for
$1,000.
And if you're an if you've got a bachelor's, it's $4,000.
Correct.
And then for a graduate degree,
$6,000.
$6,000.
Yeah, so the calculation
And
is
is it a one-time,
No.
1 year? It's multiple years.
yes, you can earn that credit for up to 4 years.
So you could knock off $16,000 if you get a bachelor's and you're staying in Rhode Island, and you say, that's just very significant.
It is very significant, yeah, and it's based on what you're actually paying. So if I am a student and I'm paying $200 a month towards my student loans, because that's what they're telling me, my total at the end of the year is going to be $2,400. I match that $2,400 as commerce, and you get that in a refundable tax credit. So in most cases, we see a lot of our fellows maxing out at the caps that we have in place, because unfortunately payments are $600-700 a month,
Right.
Which is sometimes what limits you from moving out of your parents' basement. Sometimes what limits you in getting your own car. So that amount of money back to you at the end of the year, either in a credit or in a check, is huge.
And then is there a limit to the number that you can award, a number of fellowships
Yeah.
on an annualized basis? I know you've given out approximately 200 per.
Mm-hmm.
Could you go to 400 per?
Yeah, it's a big math equation.
Gotcha.
I was never very good at math, but I'm learning to be. So we do get funded through the General Assembly. The budget
Right.
that's passed every year is what comes to us. We have a fellowship committee that then looks at that budget, looks at the applications, and kind of figures out exactly how we want to parse it out. So, for instance, the 2017 group was awarded at the levels that they submitted in their applications. They were awarded for, promise you, 2 years.
Gotcha.
Could be 4.
Excellent.
Depending on what the General Assembly is funneling to the program.
And in this year's budget, I believe the speaker said on late Friday night that the program was being level funded.
Correct. I got a lot of text messages.
Yes.
Late Friday night.
Yes.
We secured an additional $1.6 million for the program moving forward, and no sunset. So
And
it's
let
not
me
going
just tell you,
anywhere.
I was there on Friday night at 11 o'clock. Speaker Mattiello is just the cheeriest person you ever want to hang out with on a Friday evening. Oh my God, what a bundle of joy. Let's talk a little bit about, is there thoughts about other applications, ways to expand this, ways to transform it to be able to touch more students and keep more folks in Rhode Island?
Yeah, I mean, I think the industries that were selected very intentionally. I'm sure you're no stranger to the Brookings report.
Yep, sure.
So the industries that are called out in there, biomedical innovation, defense, IT, cyber, those are really the high growth, high opportunity areas for Rhode Island. So that's really where we're focusing our space, or our funding, I guess, and our resources, and design. Obviously, we're the creative capital. We want to keep it that way. We have a lot of really great talent in those spaces. I would always say more money would be great. More money, more people, more time, all of that jazz. But for now, I think those are the key sectors, because that's really the most promising future that Rhode Island has in terms of economic growth exponentially.
Right. Any things you want to fix about the program? Have there been any weaknesses? Do you think enough people know about it?
No,
Yeah.
I don't. And I've been at Commerce for about a year, so
Right.
it's my job to
Where'd you
make
come
more
from?
people know. I actually used to work at BJ's Wholesale Club.
BJ Wholesale.
Yeah,
Are you
so
from Rhode Island?
I am from Rhode Island,
And
and
are you
I
a-
commuted to Massachusetts for 5 years, and I hated it, so I came back.
And are you a member of are you a fellow of the Wavemakers program?
I wish.
Yeah.
I wish.
yeah.
I don't do anything in science.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
I could
Well,
use it, though.
you're
My
helping
student loans
people
are
in science.
certainly there.
Yeah, that's great.
My student loans are certainly an issue.
Well, I want to thank you for coming on. Good luck with the event tonight. We're going to try and spread the word and get it out to more
Thank you.
folks. It's a smart program. Obviously, Rhode Island has a huge, we had the story about a month ago, last 3 weeks or so, about Providence DMA, Providence Warwick Fall River, being the second highest in the country of losing its college grads, going elsewhere. And I think part of it is so many folks are going up to Boston because of the robust job market, and we need to recreate that here
Right.
to become as
And we're on the
competitive.
way, I
Yeah.
think. I think we're on the way in terms of a bustling focal point here in Providence. And more Wavemakers.
Great, more Wavemakers. We're going to be right back. Stay right here. We're going to be right back at the 4 o'clock hour. We've got Gary Sass, the money man, cha-ching, talking about the budget, and then we're talking innovation with Business Innovation Factory, Saul Kaplan, two of my favorites every week. We'll see you back at 4 o'clock. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to Small Biz on the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center and our friends over at Commerce RI. Thank you.